In this video, I will show you how I direct and create a music video that features crazy VFX, 3D animations, and design, all within 1 month. From pre-production, planning everything with the artist, to having more than 10 people on set, shooting everything in less than 12 hours, to post-production. How we brought these incredible ideas to life, the process of creating animations, visual effects, and the color grading. So, if you're interested, please stick around and watch the whole thing. Back in February this year, I had a tough time at school as I was having my last semester in uni.
Just survived another day where I had 3 presentations in a row. Insane. I'm literally dying.
Dealing with insane amount of school projects and also many commercial works at the same time. Then, I got a call from a local artist from Hong Kong, Jamie, asking me to create a music video for her new song, which had to be done within a month. And yeah, I said yes. With very little time, we had to dive into pre-production, planning the creative aspects and the entire production timeline while keeping it low budget. Our first step was detailing the production timeline to keep us organized and focused. We had only 2 weeks for planning, 1 night to shoot, and 2 more weeks for editing. The song is about the term situationships, an informal romantic relationship without clear boundaries or commitment. I carefully planned each shot and VFX element to ensure a good narrative flow. I used an app called Milanote to map out our vision, drawing inspiration from various films that resonate with our style and planning out every shot, transition, and effects.
我想講你嘅 storyboard 簡直係好混亂咯。
藝術咯，藝術就係咁樣。
黐線你咩回事？
I think art direction always plays an important role in filmmaking. As we were referencing the story of Snow White, we prepared quite a few props such as a vintage mirror, apples, and clocks after careful selections. For location, the hardest part was to look for a grassland with no light pollution at all in the city of Hong Kong, which is kind of ridiculous. So after a lot of researching and field trips, I found an ideal spot in the countryside that would work perfectly, which takes the whole image even closer to what we envisioned.
而家個 shot 咧，我哋影呢個有 3D 雀仔 key 喺佢隻手度嘅 shot， 咁但係佢俾蚊咬。
呢個仲起咗。
Now let's talk about the equipment we use. Our main camera is a Sony FX3, one of the best cameras ever, and we have 2 of this. I set up one on video tripod and one on the gimbal with the ring grip. I basically shot most of this music video with the Sony 24-70mm and the 70-200mm G Master lens. Incredible quality, super sharp image. And I barely use an ND filter because most of the shots are night scenes and we have full control of the lighting, with a special mention to the Laowa lens for some unique perspectives. I used the 10mm for this shot and also the 100mm macro lens when we were shooting some still prop shots. Lighting was key. We mainly use an Aperture 300D Mark II, and then we put a mini dome on it and use some orange colored gel to make it look warmer and more yellowish. We also used an Aperture 2X Fresnel multiplier to give this scene a spotlight look. And we have 2 LED mats, some tube lights, and Aperture MC lights for different setups. Huge thanks to my gaffer Eric for helping me out with this project. It's always better to have the lighting department on set so I can focus more on the story and camera stuff. 3D animations have to be the main character of this video, since Jamie and I were very inspired by this scene from the original Snow White cartoon. We want to create a scene just like that, which means we have to place and track some 3D animals in the scene. We want to create everything by ourselves instead of buying 3D models online. So we had Gavin to help out with creating all the 3D scenes. Absolute legend for helping out with this project. Definitely go check out his work. So after a lot of referencing, modeling, rigging, and more, we had a big problem because there are more than 3,000 images to render. And with the MacBooks we have, it's definitely not gonna make it in time. Luckily, I was a student at that time. So we used all the computers we had at school to generate 3D images overnight. We spent a lot of time perfecting the looks, positions, movements, and textures of these 3D animals.
Yo, so it's 6 a.m. in the morning. We're just finished making a 3D animation and VFX for the music video we're working on. We're at school, we were at the animation lab, and that was a crazy editing session. Gavin is the king here. Yeah, we're dying, and I'll see you soon. Peace.
After all, the post-production part was very intense, but seeing our ideas come alive was incredibly rewarding. I'm so happy with the results. Let's talk about these floating shots. I decided to use green screen. I mean a lot of green screens.
啱坐車 plan 晒所有嘢嘅，純粹係所有嘢次序亂咗啫，因為我哋遲咗開始。但係今日影嘅所有嘢都係我要嘅嘢嚟嘅，所以 OK 嘅。但我諗 MV 就係咁混亂咯。
To create this feeling of an imaginary world where every object is floating, we had this huge green blanket as the background so we could have the whole person covered. And then, we shot the objects one by one. What I did was film the shots in 120 frames with a high shutter speed to reduce motion blur, and using a fishing line to spin and give them movements. One thing to remember for using green screen is to have it evenly lit up and try to remove the wrinkles, which will make it easier to remove in post when you're editing. Then, I spent hours and hours in After Effects using keylight to key out the items and do a lot of keyframing to make it realistic. Again, super happy with the results we got. I always love this movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, which has this amazing visual effect of this character flying through different universe. And my toxic trait was thinking, I can do this, so here we go. I searched up a lot of BTS clips from the film and found out how they do it with an expensive LED wall room to match the lighting of different scenes. Unfortunately, we are not Hollywood, and that's why we have to be creative. So I separated this shot into two parts. First, the hyperlapse at the background, which I had to walk through gaps and streets, and then speed up the footage to give it a flashing light tunnel look. Second, I need to film my subject flying backwards, so we filmed it in a studio with a couple of RGB lights to make it colorful and random. And then we speed it up in post, placing two layers together and added a lot of motion blur to sell the effect. This is the result. For color grading, I shot everything in the S-Log3 profile with overexposing the image 1 to 2 stops, so I can get the most dynamic range out of it. I collaborated with John, a professional colorist and filmmaker. For this music video, we wanted a specific look with dark blue and the moody tone to give it a sad feeling. Because in color theory, blue is always associated with sadness and loneliness, and which also contrasts with the colors we use in the video such as yellow and red. So it's kind of representing the idea of the blurred lines of this relationship we want to discuss. And since there were a lot of VFX shots, the workflow was quite different from what I used to. There were a lot of back and forth, but I'm so glad that we made it smooth. So throughout this experience of directing a music video, I learned invaluable lessons about time management, crew coordination, and maintaining creative control. Bringing the visions and idea in my head to life and leading a big crew to create these images is definitely not easy. Each challenge taught me how to adapt and work with different departments on set.
Samuel 做成點啊？今日
其實我同佢 direct 咯，成件事係我同佢 plan storyboard 所有嘢。我哋 suppose 9點完，咁其實而家9點10分，咁我覺得遲少少唔好怪我啦。
As we wrapped up, I want to encourage everyone who made it to the end to embrace challenges. Put yourself out of your comfort zone and learn from every new experience. This is only the second music video I directed, and I'm very happy with it. Again, huge thanks to Jamie for making this possible and to everyone who has involved in this project. Go watch the music video here if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next one.